$1 million project that's focused on improving roads in North Omaha.
It's a story we've been covering since plans were announced nearly 2 years ago. First Alert 6's Johan Moran answers a question we've heard often. What's the holdup?
The City of Omaha now has $13.4 million to turn the wheels on the North 24th Street Streetscape Master Plan. It's a nearly decade-long project to give the business district a complete new look.
We are at about 30% of engineered drawings. So it's a very involved process. The money is being put to work, and those dollars are at different phases based upon the project in and of itself.
When First Alert 6 reported about the project in February of 2023, there were about $9 million approved for the plan, coming from federal and local grants. At that time, we were told construction would begin late last year or early this year. Fast forward to the present, that work has not started yet. Lavanya Goodwin, the executive director of the BID, says they're waiting for more funding.
Streetscape plans were very complex projects.
Last week, the city approved another $5 million for the plan. This brings the total to $13 million of the $53 million it's expected to cost. With the money they have now, the executive director says they have enough to start construction for phase 1 of the project.
We can expect to see some construction within the next 12 months. I think the best thing to know is that from Ohio North, we'll be looking at all aspects of, that streetscape design.
That design consists of new roads, sidewalks, and more lighting for safety.
It's really looking at each zone and looking at what each zone or area of North 24th Street needs to determine the work that'll be done.
The sidewalks in some areas are just wide enough for one person to pass. Candy LaFleur, who owns her business along 24th Street, thinks it's about time.
And I'm hoping this area will grow with the upcoming changes, hopefully, that are in the plans.
Goodwin says they're working bit by bit to make the project come to life. As they do, they're focusing on community, safety, and accessibility.
We're going to have a North Omaha that we can all be proud of.
In North Omaha, I'm Johan Marin, First Alert 6.
Goodwin hopes all the developments will be complete by 2030. She says the Business Improvement District will hold a public meeting in February to give an update on the project.